Can you explain what a contested guardianship is and what that involves?
Yeah, so a contested guardianship is basically imagine a regular guardianship process or hearing, except the ward or some other interested party objects to the guardianship. So often we can see this in the context of maybe the ward, the person for whom the guardianship is sought over, doesn't feel like they need a guardianship, or there is another family member who thinks they're better suited to be the guardian than the person who petitioned the court. So what will happen in those cases is that's where we veer a little bit off of the path of a regular guardianship, and the judge will basically create or force the parties to create and come up with a litigation schedule or a schedule for obtaining discovery or getting information from the various parties and exchanging back and forth. Ultimately, the parties will be encouraged to go to a mediation with a settlement conference judge to try to come to some agreement. The courts always would prefer there's a private agreement or resolution than the court having to make that decision themselves. However, if that is not something that is successful, ultimately there will be a hearing, an evidentiary hearing. Think of it like a mini trial with no jury typically. And the judge will hear both sides, again, whether that's the ward objecting and saying they don't have the need for a guardian, or it's somebody else saying that the person who applied to be the guardian isn't the best person suited for that role. Ultimately, those things will be argued to the judge or commissioner, where they'll make a decision.
So I would think that you'd most likely see that with divorced families, and maybe the mother and father fighting over who is going to have guardianship. Is that something that happens?
It can, yeah. It doesn't happen a whole lot. I've not personally seen it a whole lot in the divorce circumstance. Actually, a lot of the divorced families that I've worked with have sort of pre-worked that out, or they're on the same page with that. Have you seen that a lot?
Yes.
Are we recording?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I didn't think we were recording this time.
No,
sorry.
It's okay.